Every day, thousands of people are abused sexually, psychologically, or physically by someone they know. The year 2020 started off well, but during the month of March, the COVID-19 pandemic disrupted everything. Gender-based violence cases increased countrywide, prompting many counties, including Mombasa, to come up with interventions as the government directives got stiffer. That signaled the beginning of a journey to respond to the cases of gender-based violence, and hence, the Situation Room was born, complete with a toll-free line.
Hello, this is Mombasa County GBV Situation Room at Tononoka. How can I help you?
With just a room at the time, the Mombasa County Gender-Based Violence Technical Working Group members pioneered a concept that will be a game changer in the quest to end violence against women and girls within the coast region.
We were just having a discussion and brainstorming on some of the interventions that we can come up with for the gender-based violence victims. And from nowhere, we came up with the idea and thought, well, let's set up a situation room. About 8 months down the line, I have seen a tremendous change in the situation room, because at the moment we are able to capture data and do case studies of the victims.
Mke wangu alinipigia simu kunieleza kuwa ndugu yake ambaye ni kazini yake amemnajisi mtoto.
The cases that are highly rocketing as we look at the statistics now are domestic violence and defilement that is really affecting young girls, women and even boys.
Niko ndani sitting room, nimekaa na mamangu, watoto wako nje wakicheza. Kampata msichana wangu nje, nikamuuliza, kwani kuna shida gani? Msichana kanambia kuna mambo yalitokea kwa Ibra. Kwa hiyo ni Ibra mwenye akuelezee kitu gani kili happen kwake. Kaniambia mimi nilikuwa nimeenda madrasa na Sele, mtoto wa jirani. Nilipokuwa tumeenda madrasa, wakati wa kurudi lunch tukaenda kuinda vindege. Tukapata baba mwingine pale, Sele anamjua. Na Sele akaniambia twende tumsalimie huyu baba. Tulivyoenda kumsalimia yule baba alinibeba na akaniweka kwa mapaja yake. Akavuta suruali kwa nyuma na akaingiza mikono yake akanitia vidole kwa sehemu yangu ya nyuma na akaniambia nisiseme. Nikisema ataniua.
Nilioleka mwaka wa 2003 December na we married nilioleka kwa kanisani, tukafunga harusi. First year ikapita, mwaka wa pili, mwaka wa tatu, hata mimi nikaanza kuingia na wasiwasi, tumejaribu atupate watoto. So tukaenda kwa gynecologist, tupima. Mimi ndio nilikuwa nikaenda nikapimwa kwanza. Walipopima wakasema there is no problem ambayo inaweza kufanya usishike mimba. Ndio baadaye nikaja kumuuliza kwa undani, akaja kuaccept kwamba okay, mimi najua nilikosa, nilifanya hivi nikapata mtoto, so nilienda kazalisha mwanamke nje. Nikamwambia mimi sijakata, she is your second wife. Sijakata, umemzalisha. Now you have to decide, tutakuwa wawili, utamuoa tukue wawili, at least ieleweke, and then uishi maisha kama polygamous kama vile wale wengine wanaishi. But ikawa kwake ni ngumu sana. Ilikuwa ni usiku, alininyonga aswa. Alikuwa ameniumiza mpaka kaniangusha kwa kitanda. Nikitoka kulikuwa na bruises huku.
Chanzo kikubwa cha malumbano ilikuwa tu kosa hela za kumpatia aenda fanya starehe zake. Alikuwa tu atoka aenda kulala nje, kuja kesho yake asubuhi ama baada ya siku mbili mimi pia namrudi nampokea, unaona. Mimi nikavumilia naye hivyo mwezi wa kwanza. Sasa ni kaisi hapana. I deserve best. I deserve happiness. Maana kwa nyumba kwangu kwa kuna raha. Na depression tu kwa nyumba. Kila kitu iko, ndio hata chakula kingine unakosa uli, huwezi kula.
Yaani ilinipiga kwa lengo lingine, nilikuwa nahitaji mtu anishauri, mtu anikansel.
Nilisikia uchungu sana na feel vibaya kwa sababu kitu ni geni kwangu, alafu ni kitu cha kutisha. Manake hata mtoto mwenyewe alikuwa na wasiwasi, ilikuwa pia usiku hapati usingizi vizuri.
Yaani kihisia mpaka dakika hii siwezi kudanganya, physically, mentally siko settled kabisa. Najaribu mbinu zote niweze kusahau, lakini imekuwa ni ngumu sana. Sio rahisi vile, sio rahisi.
The Situation Room equipped with experienced counselors who offer therapy, trauma healing, and even child therapy, has been a safe haven to the survivors and victims of gender-based violence.
The survivors of gender-based violence or any other violence requires a minimum of 8 counseling sessions that will allow them to process their trauma. We call them in the offices and have a one-on-one counseling session with them for a period of, let's say, 3 weeks. We have a recovery model that we use to help the survivors recover, and this really actually improves their well-being.
We are currently doing a number of over 450 cases at the moment. Like I mentioned earlier, most of the cases are domestic violence cases, with women and girls, of course, being the most affected.
An idea that was born in the middle of a pandemic, the Situation Room has greatly impacted victims of gender-based violence within Mombasa as well as the neighboring counties.
There is a greater linkage in terms of referral pathway, so the Situation Room is better placed to be able to continue reaching to so many victims, not only within the county of Mombasa, but adjacent counties that are served by the Situation Room. The value of the toll-free number is that it can be accessed by any survivor, not only within the county of operation, but other counties. So any person within the jurisdiction of Kenya, any person who is able to access the toll-free line is able to call. The third impact about the Situation Room is the value it adds when men are also able to call the Situation Room and are able to get services. When the Situation Room began and when Reinvent began funding, we only had a few women calling. But as it is right now, we have a significant number of men who are able to call and get services at the Situation Room. So we are beginning to see a blend whereby not only the Situation Room serving women, but also serving men. So the gender perspective in totality is being handled by the Situation Room, which is a big impact for us.
Muhuri, a human rights organization and supporting partner at the Situation Room, has been very instrumental in tackling legal issues.
Kazi yetu sisi ni kupatia watu ushauri wa kisheria na kufuatilizia kesi mashinani na pia kufuatilizia kesi kotini na police station. Tunashirikiana karibu na kaunti ya Mombasa, department ya gender, kuhakikisha ya kwamba wananchi wetu katika kaunti ya Mombasa wanapata usaidizi kutoka kwetu.
Nashukuru koti iliamuru culprit alifunga miaka 40 gerezani.
The Center for Rights, Education and Awareness crew concentrated on economic empowerment, providing cash transfer to dignify and empower victims of gender-based violence. Additionally, they provided dignity packs to caution survivors.
We know that during COVID, a lot of people lost their means of income, a lot of people were unable to actually support themselves, the basic needs. So we came up with a dignity kit that is to elevate that suffering that normally sometimes ends up being the cause of why a lot of young women and young girls go through gender-based violence. We are able to have that linkage through the Situation Room. So it plays quite a crucial role in our activities, in our response. It's a main point of referral linkages of the survivors to other partners, for example, ourselves.
The Situation Room has since become a safe space for survivors of gender-based violence.
So it's more of a safe space that has been created to ensure that communities and homes have a place to voice their issues, and they can be listened in, and they can be given the advice and support that they require.
It is quite evident that no one is immune to incidences of gender-based violence. During a recent visit to the Situation Room, the British High Commissioner Jane Marriott sounded a wake-up call.
1 in 3 women globally will experience some sort of physical or sexual violence in her lifetime. I too have been a victim or a survivor of sexual assault in the course of my work. Gender-based violence increases. During COVID, we have seen the caseload go up. We see the caseload go up during election time, and it's important that we all work together and support organisations like Saudi and others who are helping to tackle gender-based violence so we can put a stop to this and live more harmoniously together.
Mombasa County, through the Department of Youth, Gender, Sports and Cultural Affairs, together with the supporting partners, are keen to formulate policies as guiding principles in tackling gender-based violence. With this, victims are sure to access justice, protection, and an increase in budgetary allocations.
We dare to challenge legislative agendas and budget commitment, because it's not enough to say we want a situation room but there's no money, there's no funding, there's no technical expertise. We dare to challenge that.
The future is bright, and I would just like to urge every Mombasa resident to take advantage of the toll-free line, because that line is definitely a game changer. Anybody who feels that they need to report a case, this is the place that they need to come. Anybody that feels that they need to vent, this is the place they need to come.
Let's join hands and stop gender-based violence in Mombasa.
Tunawahimiza sana muendelee kupiga namba ya simu ambayo iko bure.
Usinyamaze, usikubali kudhulumiwa. Tunakupenda, ndio maana tuko hapa kwa ajili yako.